Wisconsin is experiencing another severe winter storm. According to forecasts of meteorologists, up to 60 centimeters of snowfall is expected in the state. In addition, in some cities, a blizzard and snowfall is accompanied by freezing rain. Quite a lot of snow has already fallen in some areas. For example, in Washburn the snow depth exceeds 65 centimeters. The authorities asked to be as careful as possible on the roads, and it is better, if possible, to cancel planned trips by private vehicles. Because the freezing rain creates very dangerous conditions for the movement of vehicles and accidents are already observed. It took 4 hours to clean up the consequences of the accident, resulting in 10 people being hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Strong winds and heavy rainfall have returned to the state of Parana, Brazil. According to local media, an average of 100 millimeters of rain fell on the state in 6 hours. This amount of rain provoked localized floods in several departments. The maximum flood level reached 60 centimeters. Torrential rains were accompanied by strong wind, which gusts reached 25 meters per second. Some of the houses of local residents were left without their roofs. Eyewitnesses of the event shared on the internet photos and videos of the consequences of the violence of the elements. In some frames you can see how the flow of water demolishes the asphalt coating on one of the streets. Several landslides have been reported on the outskirts of the state. There were no casualties and injuries, not counting the huge material damage caused. While Madagascar barely had time to recover from the passage of Cyclone Batsiray, which killed at least 120 people and affected about 270,000 residents, this morning the fourth cyclone hit the island this year. It was given the name Emnati. The wind speed at the epicenter of the hurricane reaches 40 meters per second. Emnati will pass through the southern part of the island. According to Emnati's trajectory, its core will affect a larger area than in the case of Batsiray. Strong wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour are expected. At the same time, about 21,000 people are still displaced after Tropical Storm Anna hit at the end of January. Already, the first effects of the cyclone, damaged houses, are already being observed. Torn roofs and fallen trees and power lines. Argentina is unable to cope with the forest fires that have engulfed the country. According to rescuers, it is no longer possible to put out the flames from the ground. We need planes with hydrants, which the local Ministry of Emergency Situations lacks. The most difficult situation is in the province of Corrientes. There, the flames destroyed nearly 900,000 hectares of forest. The region has been declared an ecological disaster zone. Buenos Aires has already requested help from other states. The fire reached the Santa Lucia National Reserve. Forests and swamps are burning. Dozens of wild animals have died. Argentine authorities say the province of Corrientes has been hardest hit by the fire, which has been raging for more than a month in a province in the country's northeast. Northern Britain, as well as parts of France and Germany, were hit by Storm Franklin, the third major storm to hit the region in less than a week. Severe weather led to flooding of roads, power outages and the deaths of at least 14 people. Due to heavy rains, local rivers overflowed, as a result of which the water that overflowed its banks poured into settlements, flooding houses and city streets. Schools and parks are closed. Some houses and urban infrastructure are damaged. Local motorists suffered greatly from bad weather. Due to the large amount of water, the roadways have turned into real rivers. Many routes are simply blocked. Due to extreme weather conditions, local authorities urged the public to stay away from flooded areas and limit travel by private vehicles. In the past 24 hours alone, dozens of flood warnings have been issued in the region. And it's not over yet. According to the weather forecast, the weather will not improve in the near future. Heavy snowfall in northern Japan disrupted air and rail traffic. Japanese airlines cancelled more than 140 flights to and from Hokkaido. All train services to and from Sapporo Station were also suspended. In total, more than 970 train runs were stopped in the region, accounting for 70%. By Wednesday morning, about 50 centimeters of snow had fallen in Sapporo and nearby areas. A major accident occurred on the Hakodate-Asahi Expressway in Hokuto, Hokkaido, as a result of which 7 people were injured. According to local rescuers, one of them died. Many motorists are stuck in traffic jams due to poor visibility on the roads. In the Hokuriku area, up to 70 centimeters of snow can fall in 24 hours before 6 o'clock Friday. 50 centimeters of winter precipitation is expected in the Kanto Koshin region. 6-meter waves are predicted off the coast. Heavy rains that have not stopped for several days have caused a stream to overflow into Tarija, Bolivia. As a result, floods and mudflows occurred. At the moment, it is known about the death of 4 people and 8 missing. Entre Rios County in O'Connor Province was hit hard. Local media reported that the landslides destroyed more than 50 houses. The flood affected about 250 families. The total amount of precipitation that fell in 24 hours was 200 millimeters. Bolivia's meteorological agency has issued a red alert. Departmental authorities reported that a bridge in the municipality of Macapaca was damaged as a result of the flood. The risk management team of the regional government said that it sent a rapid response team to clean up the area from the consequences of landslides and mudflows, as well as restore the infrastructure. Heavy rains have not bypassed the other department of Santa Cruz. For 12 hours, 120 millimeters of precipitation was recorded here. The flood that swept the Bolivian city completely paralyzed traffic on some of its streets. Roads were underwater, houses were flooded. The cause of the flood was a clogged storm sewer that could not cope with a large amount of sudden rainfall. In connection with the flood, the police and other departments responsible for the safety of citizens have been put on high alert. According to official information, there were no casualties. About 80 cars were stuck in Helsinki and Tromsø as a result of a heavy snowstorm that hit Iceland on the night of February 23. Rescuers have already left for the scene to help the victims. The maximum wind gusts reached 45 meters per second. In some cities, people are left without electricity due to broken wires. According to the Icelandic Meteorological Bureau, northern and western parts of the country will be covered today. The wind speed can reach 25 meters per second. Visibility on the roads will be greatly reduced. People are advised not to travel while the weather warning is in effect. Rescue teams are on standby due to adverse weather conditions in many parts of the country. Rescuers have already been deployed in North Iceland and the Westfjords after many cars got stuck in the snow. Australia is suffering from heavy rains for the second day. Yesterday, New South Wales suffered as a result of heavy rains. In some areas, the height of the flood reached 60 centimeters. Floods hit Queensland today. In just a few hours, more than 300 millimeters of rain fell in the state located in the northeast of Australia. Heavy rain caused severe flooding. Wide Bay and the Sunshine Coast were the hardest hit areas. The Queensland Emergency Service has issued an emergency flash flood and road flood warning. More than 100 people were forced to ask for help, finding themselves in a hopeless situation due to floods. 10 residents are considered missing. According to local weather forecasters, heavy rains will continue in Cleveland for several more days. Precipitation is expected to exceed 400 millimeters in places. From Tuesday, February 22, a storm warning for heavy snowfalls has been in effect in some regions of China. Due to heavy rainfall in the affected regions, transport links may be disrupted. Local authorities recommend residents not to leave their homes. On Wednesday, February 23, snowfalls hit the provinces of Yunnan, Guizhou, Hunan, Jiangxi, Anhui and Zhejiang. In the above regions, the height of the snow cover can increase up to 35 centimeters. Due to snowfalls, disruptions in the operation of railway transport and accidents on the roads are possible. Failures in the supply of electricity and telecommunications systems are also possible. Thank you for watching the video. Thanks for supporting the channel. Good wind and weather.